posted an Instagram a little while back saying how much I love wearing black, basically, and it's something that I'm so comfortable in, I'm so confident in. It's something that I always turn to, especially when I'm in those moments of not really knowing what to wear. Usually I'll go for an all black outfit. And I mentioned in that, you know, there were times where I always thought that I should be adding more color to my wardrobe, and I had this like weird, I don't want to say like a pressure, but like just feeling like I should add more color to my wardrobe because that's just, you should have that wide variety, you should have all of the things going on. And I really fell into that for a long time, you know, buying all the things that I should have within my wardrobe. That was not ever times where I felt my best. When I feel my best, it's because I'm wearing the things that I'm comfortable and confident in, which is a lot of black clothing, which is a lot of neutral clothing. And you know, every time I do have really bright and colorful pieces within my wardrobe, they don't last within my wardrobe. During a closet clean out, they're usually the first ones to hit the road. And that's something that I really had to learn over time, and to be able to tune out the outside noise and really tune in to what works for me and be okay with knowing what works for me and not necessarily trying to follow along with the shoulds that should be going on within your wardrobe. And I think that's an important lesson, not just for your wardrobe, but for every single area of life. So all of that kind of got me thinking about how much your clothes, your fashion, your style, all of this really impacts your confidence, because those times where I was wearing all of the shoulds, the should-haves in the wardrobe, weren't necessarily the times that I felt my best and my most confident self. And that's because I was perhaps trying to be something that I wasn't, or listening to what other people say should have been those essentials in my wardrobe when they weren't necessarily for me. Think of a time or times where you feel your best and you're most confident. It's probably because what you were wearing made you feel really good. I know when I'm feeling like really good in my outfit, those are often the times when I do feel the most confident. So the two very much go hand in hand, like confidence and your personal style, or confidence in just how you present yourself and pull yourself together. So I think it's important to really nail down your personal style and find those pieces that fit well, that you feel your best in, and setting those intentions around it too. Asking yourself, how do I want to feel today? And really curate your looks around that. So I thought I would share, you know, just some of the things that I learned along the way and what helped me really narrow down my personal style and knowing what I'm comfortable in and knowing when to tune out the noise, and be able to add pieces to my wardrobe that work for me. So maybe you can, I don't know, maybe you can take a little tip from this. But one of the first things that I realized or started becoming aware of and conscious of was what I was comfortable in versus what I wasn't comfortable in. And obviously that sounds like duh, but really paying attention to that and taking note of that and starting to curate your wardrobe around that. Even just very, very simple things. For example, just learning my own body type. I found that I personally loved when my bum was covered up a little bit more, because I'm not a huge fan of my hips. So typically for me, if I'm dressing, I like to cover them up a little bit. I like to have, you know, looser fitting clothing down there. I like to have just pieces that are going to make me comfortable around that area. So for example, I learned that I love oversized things that go past my hips. I love longer line jackets, longer blazers, which is why I'm not typically a fan of like a cropped jacket or something like that, because that really accentuates an area that I'm not so comfortable and confident having completely exposed. Does that make sense? And this is also why I'm a huge fan of wide leg pants or just flowier pants within my wardrobe, because those make me feel a lot more confident when I'm wearing them and having that looser fitting clothing. Does that make sense? So just learning, you know, where you might be a little bit more insecure, or areas that you prefer to have a little bit more covered up, can really go a long way in curating a wardrobe of pieces that make you feel much more comfortable in what it is that you're wearing. So becoming aware of those things and then curating pieces within your wardrobe and having a bunch of different options like within those styles. Like I have multiple pairs of wide leg pants. I have tons of oversized sweaters. I have lots of longer line blazers that make me feel super comfortable. So learning that about myself allowed me to curate more pieces within my wardrobe that made me comfortable in those areas. And that basically leads me like into my second point, which is the whole trial and error. Like obviously you're not going to know what you're comfortable and confident in unless you are wearing it. And you're not going to know what maybe you're not so comfortable in unless you're wearing it. Don't be so hard on yourself either. Like it really does come with time and learning to know what you feel you're best in and wearing those things on repeat. And it's totally okay if you mess up. I have made a boatload of mistakes within my wardrobe, or getting things that I think were my style and that I thought would be the perfect things, but maybe it turned out that they weren't, and that's okay. It's all a learning process. Follow what feels good. Another little tip that I have, and something that made me become a lot more aware of my wardrobe and my personal style, was noticing what was staying and what was going each time I did a wardrobe clean out. And I love to do a little clean out seasonally, so one in the spring, summer, and one in the fall, winter. And I would start to notice the things that maybe didn't last as long in my wardrobe, and then the things that stayed season after season. And you can kind of take those mental notes of those pieces that are staying within your wardrobe, those things that you are getting the most wear out of, and also those things that tend to have the shorter life cycle that maybe you're parting ways with a little bit quicker. And you can take mental notes on that too. It's like, okay, why did I only have this in my wardrobe for a year and this other thing in my wardrobe that I've had for 5, 10 plus years? And getting honest with yourself about that too, because another thing I noticed that I was doing is anything that was super bright and colorful wasn't lasting as long within my wardrobe. So that is something I took a note of, and it's made me aware that, hey, I love my neutrals and I love my blacks, and that's gonna stay. Is a little step in the learning process. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Maybe you could pull a little tip from it in defining your own personal style a little bit more and creating that confidence within your style. It all comes from comfort at the end of the day. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.